Hello FlossTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin. This is my channel Lady Robins, and this is a channel all about my favorite hobby, which is cross stitch. I didn't mean to, but I took the month of December off. December just kind of got busy, and before I knew it, it was New Year's Eve. So I'm just going to start fresh here in 2025. I want to wish you all a very merry, happy new year. And I hope that all of your holidays were wonderful. Mine were pretty good. So anyway, welcome. You are in for a WIP Parade because I don't know what I stitched between my last FlossTube and this FlossTube, so I figured we'd just look at all my WIPs and then you can decide for yourself what I stitched on from the last video, since I have no idea. I'm reaching for my water. I just have hot water today. I'm in Kansas City. Haven't used this mug in a long time. So hot water for me. It is blustery, it is rainy, it is gray outside here in the Pacific Northwest, so a little hot water seemed like a really good choice for my FlossTube episode. In case you're interested, I'm also on Instagram. I also have been ignoring Instagram in December apparently. So anyway, 2025, new leaf, new things. Before I get rocking and rolling too far and dive into the WIPs, I wanted to say a thank you. I received a number of Christmas cards from you, my faithful followers, and so I want to say a quick thank you to the people that sent me cards. I got a lovely card from my friend Sheila Norton, who is a wonderful stitcher here in the Pacific Northwest. I got a beautiful Christmas card from Janet of Janet Jabber. So thank you, Janet. I really appreciated that. Another really nice card. This came a long, long way. This is from Sue Radford. Sue, thank you so much for thinking of me and spending all that money on postage. I really appreciated getting this card from you. So thank you. And then Chris Yo of As the Yo Flies sent me this amazing handmade Christmas card. So thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. So you guys, already my year is starting off great. You are showering me with goodness, and I appreciate it. Okay, so a few little stats, just so you know what's ahead of us. I went through my book of days. I've got a new 2025 book of days, and what I like to do on my book of days is I like to write down on this column here all of my WIPs, and I start the year with 15 WIPs. The interesting thing is I did go through, I don't know if you can see that, and I put a star by WIPs that I'm carrying over from last year. So of the 15 WIPs, I have 6 that I've carried over, and some of those have been carried over for multiple years. So I'm hoping to make excellent progress on those 6, because wouldn't it be fun to start 2026 and say none of these WIPs have carried over, you know, and I've finished everything that that has been, you know, on my to-do list for a long time. So that's kind of, you know, my thinking on how I'm going to approach my WIPs. You all know that I love playing some of the challenge games, and so I always do the magazine monthly across stick that Robin and Carolyn Zook put together on their channels. They've got a magazine monthly challenge Facebook page, and so they've got the files set up for every month. This month our theme is countdown, and I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to use for my countdown pieces. So the main one, I'm going to count down to a finish on Huckleberry Farm. My goal last year was to finish Huckleberry Farm. I am close, but I'm not finished. So gotta get that off the list, off the WIP list. Then our acrostic is timer, T-I-M-E-R. So for T, I've got the trees in the festive forest stitch, which is a jingle ball class put on by the, Janine of the Blue Flower. I had the hardest time. I'm like, I gotta jimmy this one in here. So I'm out in the harbor in Harbor Haven. Another, carryover WIP. So I definitely, again, I want to get progress on that. M is for Max Pigeon because I'm stitching his fox and butterflies. And you'll see all of these as I go through my WIPs. E is for Owl Forest Embroidery, and I'm working on Hyperborea. Again, this one has been on my WIP list for a number of years. It's time, don't you think? It's time to knock that one out. And then the last one is Beach Rat, R for rat. So I'd like to get that finished by September because Gigi is one of the designers for the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, which I hope I will be able to snag a spot in. So it would be fun to have a piece of hers on the bride table. So that is my acrostic. And then I do also love WIP Go. And so WIP Go calls for January are number 11 and number 20. And if you remember from the past, I like to do more tasks than calling out a specific WIP. However, this year I've done a little of both. So I've got tasks and WIPs. Sometimes I've called out a designer so I can choose, which will be fun. So then you're not, stuck with something that all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to stitch that. That's happened to me. So for number 11, my task for number 11 is to video chat with friends while stitching. So that's an easy one to accomplish. And then number 20, I actually called it a specific WIP, which is the Festive Forest, which allows me to double dip between my Magazine Monthly acrostic and my WIP Go board. So those are kind of my stitching plans for January. So let's look at my WIPs. In no particular order, because I've just kind of thrown them on the counter next to me here. We'll get going. Oh, and before I forget, since we last got together, I did have two purchases. And so I just wanted to show you those. I was lucky enough to get to the attic in Mesa, Arizona. My sister and brother-in-law have a place down in Mesa, so I talked my sister into driving me over there to the attic. I was very, very restrained. I picked up this. This is the kind of the Statehood Splendor series, and this is the 50th state, which is Hawaii. And I have been to Hawaii. I'd like to stitch all of the states that I have visited, and so it was fun to see that there. And I figure if I knock out a WIP, I'm going to start this. The next thing that I purchased, now this I purchased from Acorns and Threads, and this is a Blackbird design, and this is the Winter is Past. I can't get over those blue tulips. Aren't they glorious? So this is another one that when I get a WIP done, this is also going to be a new start for me in 2025. So there you have it. There's my plans. Let's look at some WIP, shall we? Will that be fun? All right, so you know me. Oh, sorry, I wiggled the camera. I've got them I've got them on the bookcase behind me, and they're in alphabetical order, so these might be pretty close to alphabetical order, but of course, as you know, things shift and slide when you're doing a WIP Parade. So anyway, by Brenda Gervais, I have got Autumn Splendor, which I think is just one of the cutest doggone little charts. And I am stitching this on a 36 count antique ivory linen. and I'll show you where I'm at. This isn't going to be a very big piece. This is like 70 by 70, and there is like the upper left-hand corner of Autumn's Splendor. So I'm looking forward to stitching on that. I think that is just glorious. So it's kind of this little bit right here is what I stitched. And I remember when I was stitching it, I mean, I thought, oh my gosh, I've got a whole corner done. And it took me like 2 nights. I was surprised how quickly that stitched up. So that is WIP number 1. If you're keeping track, again, we're only counting to 15, so this won't take forever. Okay, so there is Autumn's Splendor. Next thing is Beach Rat by the Artsy Housewife. Oh, these bags are leaning against my camera. Sorry, I'm wiggling the camera. All right, so Beach Rat looks like that. Yeah, isn't that fun? I love that. And so this, I know I am stitching it on a 32 count, but I'll be doggone if I know off the top of my head what the color of the fabric is, what exactly it is. But anyway, here is my progress on Beach Rat, and I have got to pay attention, because even though it looks like there's a lot of white, there's a lot of different colors in that glorious seagull. And so it's easy to think you're on one row and then go on the next row and go, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't match up. I've had that happen twice. So that's one of the problems of not being a monogamous stitcher, is you have to kind of suss out, where was I in the pattern when I put this down? But anyway, Beach Rat will be stitched on this month, so I'll make some progress on that. So I think that one is just adorable. And that, we kind of have a nautical theme decor in our family room. So this will go in the family room when it's done. All right, so there is Beach Rat. And then let's see here. The next thing is this. Yep, this is Festive Forest. So this is one of the pieces that I'm also going to be stitching on this month. And so that's what it's going to look like. It's kind of, she was trying to figure out what to call this, because it's not quite a biscornu. I think she called it a muffin top during the Jingle Ball muffin top finish, something like that. It was super cute. So anyway, this is a fun stitch, because you're using all sorts of different flosses. So I've got some Roxy, I've got Cottage Garden threads, there's DMC, what else? Roxy, DMC, Weeks, yep, Cottage Garden threads. I mean, all sorts of different fun colors, and Janine has just put them together in such a spectacular way. So anyway, oops, I even left thread in the middle. So I am stitching it on, it doesn't look very green here, but I am stitching this on a green fabric. The kit included a fabric, but you know me, I love green. That shows the color a little bit better. So I am really at the beginning of, Festive Forest, because I've got just the start on one of those chunks, and I think there's 8 of them. So yeah, have to make a concerted effort on this one throughout the year. So that's where I'm at on Festive Forest. All right, so the next thing is Fox and Butterflies. That's our Max Pigeon book, and it came out of this book. You can see I've already got my next Max project tagged. All right, so that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. Isn't that adorable? I just love that pattern. So that's Festive Forest. Now here is where I'm at on this one. I got this one project bag where the zippers, it's a plastic, it's a plastic Amazon bag. So anyway, here is where I'm at on Fox and Butterfly. So I still have to get, put one little butterfly in there, and then I'm working on his glorious tail. So this is, this isn't too far away from a finish. So this one definitely will get done this year, but it's not one of the oldies. So anyway, Max Pigeon, love his stuff. And like I said, I've already got marked what my, my next Max Pigeon project will be. Okay, so then from there, I jump to Friendship Blooms. Now, I signed up for the Silver Needle Little Help from Our Friends Club Kit last year, and I was bound and determined that I would, get these stitched up, because you get one every other month with that club. And I'm like, well, that's perfect for me. Well, I still got behind. But this is from Pansy Patch Quilt and Stitchery, and that's what it looks like. Isn't that cute? I just love I love those houses. And I'm not a big house fan, but I thought those were adorable. So here I am. The kit comes with the floss and the fabric and everything you need, and then there's usually some sort of a little goodie along with it. So I just have the start of the center motif right in there, but that'll be fun to stitch. So this bag has the 4 other kits that I've gotten from that club that I haven't started. So I've got plenty of great stitching ahead of me from that club. And so when this is done, I'll probably just pick another one out of this bag that's got all my A Little Help from My Friend kits that are all, ready to go. Okay, so then the next thing is from the Jingle Ball, and it's my Stacy Nash Gingerbread House stitching book. And I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my goodness, what bag is that in? Is it this one? Give me half a second to stand up. Is it this one? No. Friends. Oh, it's behind me. Here we are. I guess I haven't pulled a project bag for this one yet. But anyway, this is the Gingerbread House sewing book. This was one of the 4 classes I signed up for at the Jingle Ball. And I just have the barest start on this one. And this is so fun because you get all of the flosses and the fabric and all the finishing bits. So I've just got a bare start on this, but it's a fun one to stitch. I was stitching that roof line, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just like little fun little cute stitches, and this is on 36 count, so I'm stitching it 1/2, so it's absolutely a fabulous stitch. And then the class was great. Stacy Nash, she just sat there during the 2-hour class, and she finished the whole thing, but she wasn't in any hurry. She just did her thing, took her time, made sure that things lined up. It was a really good class. I would highly recommend taking a Stacy Nash class if you have the opportunity. I really enjoyed her pacing of the class. I didn't feel rushed. I didn't feel frantic, and I did stitch a little bit during the class, but I just found that it was fascinating just to sit there and watch her process, hear her talk about her stitching and her stories and her family life. And I just found it very relaxing. Sometimes, if you're trying to finish something, and I kind of get amped up, as we've talked about before. So anyway, Stacy Nash's class was spot on for me. Okay, the next thing I've got is a Mill Hill kit. Yeah, I haven't stitched a Mill Hill in forever, and so this is, I think it's one of the Jim Shore ones. Let's see here. Yeah, yep, Jim Shore, and it's Gnome with Bells. It's super cute. And so I've just, I've got a little bit of a start, and I'm just, I'm just having the best time, and that'll definitely get done in time for Christmas. So there's, what is that? That's WIP number 7. The next thing is one of the big kahuna projects, and this is a carryover for a couple of years. Harbor Haven, friends. We got to get on the Harbor Haven bandwagon. If I have any chance of finishing this before I perish. So I am working on scene number 5. There are 12 of them, so I have lots of good Harbor Haven stitching ahead of me. So let me show you where I am at on Harbor Haven. So here's, give you a little view. So that's where I'm at, and I love it. I think it's gorgeous. I love this piece. So yeah, gotta put more effort into working on Harbor Haven. All right, so that is my WIP number 8. WIP number 9 is another one that I swore I was going to finish it in 2025 and I didn't. Huckleberry Farm. How many times have you heard me say Huckleberry Farm? Here we are. Here's our pattern. It's another blue flower who I adore. I just love her stuff. But I am really close. I am really close. I am working on the last row of stuff. And let me tell you, the skirt on this was the only project I took with me when I went down to Arizona, and that was 3 nights of stitching. And boy, did I worked really hard on that skirt, because my sister's house is not set up for stitching. And there is just beautiful, low, soft mood lighting everywhere. And I brought a light with me, but the cord wasn't long enough to where the chair was. I mean, like I said, I worked really hard in low light to get that skirt stitched. but I was bound and determined. I didn't stitch every night because it was such a struggle, but I did stitch at least 2 nights. We were there 7 nights, so I did not get enough stitching time done. And it kind of unplugged me from Christmas a little bit, because we left on the 8th of December. We came home on the 15th of December, which was the 2nd and 3rd Sundays of Advent. By the time I got home, I'm like, what was I thinking? My shopping wasn't done. Nothing was wrapped. I hadn't baked a cookie. I mean, I was like, oh my goodness. And at that point, things that we normally do, we just didn't have time for. I'm like, Christmas is in 10 days. I sent out, very few Christmas cards. Basically, if you sent me a card, I sent you a card. And then, of course, I did to the aunties and the uncles, but oh my goodness. I mean, I just didn't do my normal stuff. I was like, note to self, do not travel between the 2nd and 3rd Sundays of Advent, because at least it didn't work for me. It was fine, but it was also not fine, because I felt like I didn't get to do all of the things that I like to do. So anyway, so there you go. That was Harbor Haven, and that was way too much chatting. The next one is Hyperborea, and that is my Owl Forest embroidery one. And I love this thing. I love this thing. And yet I did not spend hardly any time stitching on it last year. Definitely want to change that for this year. So this is where I'm at. You know, I think I'll have to look at the chart, but I think there's like one little motif that goes up here, and then the middle bit is done, and then I've got the, you know, the two side bits to do. So there's tons of stitching that needs to happen on Hyperborea, but I'm here for it. I think it's gorgeous. I just think it's gorgeous. I just can't wait to get, I can't wait to stitch that I mean, yes, I want to stitch him, but I really am looking forward to stitching that polar bear. I think that polar bear is glorious. So, yeah, Harbor Haven, Hyperborea, gotta work on those guys. Finish up Huckleberry Farm. How come everything's kind of squished together? Why are all the H projects taking so long? Okay. The next one is a Stitching Book Club piece, Little Women. And I know I've showed this a couple of times last year, and that's about all it got. It was kind of shuffled to the side. So, you know, that's what the completed piece is going to look like. I'm stitching this on an ivory 28 count Lugana, and I don't have that much done. That's as far as I've gotten. So there's quite a bit of stitching still to go on this piece. So again, concentrate on the things that I carried over. So this will also end up on the radar. All right. After Little Women, I have got Monster House by Satsuma Street. This is so fun. This is going to take me a gabillion years to finish, and I'll be doggone the chart's not in here. It's probably on my stitching board out in the living room, so sorry about that. You'll just have to look at the stitching. So this is all I've got. This is like part 1 of 6, and the parts are huge, you guys. So this is as far as I've gotten on Little Monster House, but I'm not gunning for a finish on this one this year because the ones I've already talked about. So that is my WIP number 12. Number 12. 13 is a blackwork piece that I have been just slowly eking out a little bit here and there, and it's really fun to stitch on it, but I don't know what my problem is. Okay, so here I am. This is the back and this is the front. So this is my blackwork piece. It is by Peppermint Purple, and this was like a sal. You were supposed to do like one of these squares every week. There's 52 squares. Yeah, I need to get that off my plate. It's glorious. And they had not suggested colors, so I picked a rainbow, and yeah, that's what I got. So now this is kind of your chart. So I'm like right up here. I'm a long way away from a finish, but you know, every little bit counts. Okay, the next thing is Seaside Tiny Town, and that couldn't be cuter. I love those. And I bought the spool last year from Pete's Bee Skeps, so when I finally finish it, I've got the finishing piece for it. It'll be great. Okay, so where have I gotten to on Seaside Tiny Town? Just up here. Yep. So this is a fun one. I'm looking forward to finishing this one up and putting it on the round spool. And again, this will go in our family room with all of our other nautical themed things. So that is WIP number 14. and we have one more to go, and we'll have looked at them all. So the last one is also a Satsuma Street Sal that I started a couple of years ago, and I think it's so pretty. This is Winter Woods. Pretty? Yeah. However, what's not so pretty is the lack of progress. Lack of progress. I don't even have the first little bit done. Yeah. So this needs a lot of work. And what is this stitched on? This is stitched on a, what is it? A 28 count Lugana, and it's by Fiber on a Whim, and the color is Ocean Blue. I love it. So those, friends, are all my WIPs. I've got 15 WIPs, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to go up on my WIP count. Very possible. A couple of times in the middle of last year, I went back through my book of days and looked. I think there was one month where I actually got up to 18 WIPs, but I was able to ratchet it back down to 15 by the end of the year, which works for me. Everybody gets, you know, you do you, right? You do as many WIPs as you want. You know, keep it down to 5 or less. Be a monogamous stitcher. It's all good. It's all fine. Just do what makes you happy. What makes me happy is to have fewer, but I don't know if you can see back here, there's 100 things that are kitted up. So when I finish one, I've got things ready to go, and I don't have to spend too much time kitting things up. And that's one of the things I found a couple of years ago. I went through and I unkitted everything, right? And the only thing I had were WIPs. And since I had all the project bags, a lot of times I just left the pattern in the bag. And if I'd already bought the fabric specifically for that piece, then I left the fabric in there. But I took all the floss out. And now I'm thinking I shouldn't have done that, because I find I never have all the floss. It doesn't matter how many times I go to the store, I never have all the floss. And so when I'm ready to start something, I'm like, I want to start that thing, and then I was like, oh rats, I don't have the thing. So okay, so what's my second choice? I don't have all the bits for that. What's my third choice? I don't have all the bits for that. How is that possible? So I'm learning a little bit about myself and my stitching journey, that I like to have things kitted up, waiting in the wings, ready to go. So I will be kitting up that the little state one, the Hawaii State Splendor. I'm gonna kit that up, so that'll be ready to go. And then I will kit up the Winter is Past, so that when I'm ready, when I finish something, I can just grab the bag and I can start. That's what I like to do. Okay, so you know, in terms of life updates, we're just doing the same old thing. The parents are terrible. I'll tell you that right now. My parents are awful. Today was the day that we got the approval from my dad's doctor to call hospice in. So, and I know that, you know, hospice tells you, you know, it's not always end of life stuff. It's just, you know, getting him the care and support he needs. However, yesterday when I was over there, one of the nurses says, yeah, it does feel like he's kind of, you know, ending his journey. So that's on our radar, is, you know, dad's really struggling. So that's, you know, if you have a second, if you light candles, if you pray, just include my dad. Okay, that was hard to say that. I don't want to end this on a sad note, because he's had a good life, you guys. He's 88 years old. If he makes it to May, he'll make it to 89, which is a good long life. So, anyway, thank you for all of the comments on my last video where I was talking about I was going to start FFOing all of the 12 days of Christmas stockings. Guess what didn't happen? If you leave and go to Arizona in the middle of the Christmas season, that doesn't happen. So none of those stockings are finished, but I did find the black interfacing. So thank you for all of the suggestions of where to find that. And so I'm going to be slowly finishing the 12 Days of Christmas stockings. I'm not going to do a giveaway on this video. I don't have the bandwidth for it right now. I just don't. I had a couple of things that have been unclaimed for at least 3 videos. At this point, I'm just going to put them to the side, and I'll announce them again on a future FlossTube, and we'll draw new folks for those. So if you're hoping for a little giveaway today, sorry, just don't have the bandwidth for that. But anyway, my immediate family is good. My son is doing great in college. My husband is wishing he could retire, but he doesn't feel like he can do it yet. So until he can figure that out, I'll just be the only retired one in the family. And it's great, you guys. Retirement is really, really great. So if you're thinking if you should do it or not do it, I would say do it. Do it, do it, do it. Okay, on that note, thank you for always coming and watching and commenting, and just being part of my life, beyond just my stitchy life. So I appreciate all of you. I hope 2025 brings you nothing but good things, and I will see you on the next video. I do not know when it will be. I'd love to say it's going to be consistently every 2 weeks, but knowing where I am with the parents, I can't guarantee that. So just give me some grace. I will come back and talk to you when I can. Okay, have a great day. Have a great 2025, and stitch happy, my friends. Okay, bye.